What's up, Reapers? Welcome back to the crypt. Had something was stuck to my nail. Ugh, don't know what that was. Anyway, um, three, a few stories from school. First one was, I want to say, 10th grade. I had a Bluetooth speaker that was, imagine like about this size, a bit wider, obviously, and blue. It was about to like cut off the Cannibal Corpse thing, wide and blue. A bit wider. I liked it. I love that thing. Um, so I played music in the halls, and I was playing Suicidal Tendencies Institutionalized, where um a teacher had asked me what song I was playing when I came into class, and I said Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies. She immediately got offended and whatnot, and back then I kind of cared what people thought. I mean, I try not to anymore because people are gonna dislike a lot of things that I like, and people are gonna like things that I don't like. That's just how it is. However, I later on I kind of go, you know, there's there's just not a whole lot going on with this. I um I of course explained like it's just a band song. It's not like I'm hurting anyone. And she got very defensive, whatnot, to a point that I got called down to the social worker's office. I had to explain that it's a song not meant to be taken uber seriously, and also the band name isn't meant to be taken super seriously. If anything, they're talking about mental health, and a lot of their later stuff, sorry, just has to be dealt with. Or dealt with. Wow, a lot of their later stuff isn't even about mental health. I'm sorry, guys, I'm tired. They let me go, and I went on my merry way. Later that year before COVID, I started exploring death metal, brutal death metal. Now, at this point, I had some channels I was watching, and I also found a lot of other things. And one of the bands I had found was two bands I found were Cannibal Corpse, right here, and Dying Fetus. Now, one day I'm listening to Dying Fetus's Reign Supreme album, and no, I mean I had already listened to like Butchered at Birth, Wrong One to Fuck With, um, a bit tracks off of that, Grotesque Impalement, obviously. No, I was getting used to their stuff. Um, I'd already heard of Cannibal Corpse by this point. Tomb of Mutilated, uh, being the very first brutal death metal album and just death metal album I ever heard front to back. Now, my teachers didn't know I liked brutal death metal. So, I was listening to the song From Womb to Waste. And it was right at the point where it says, "Fuck the baby, let it die." And the teacher looked up the lyrics and got horrified, thinking I wanted to kill a child. Now, obviously, I had no intentions of performing any kind of abortions or whatever on someone. I've never done any of that. That was not a priority in school. Never will be my top priority. That said, I had a long discussion with my social worker and some of the people I worked with because she was convinced that I wanted a fetus to die. Now, the next day I came in and I'm listening to Cannibal Corpse. Of course, I listened to Tomb of the Mutilated, which everyone knows is artwork. I think everyone knows Hammer Smash Face, Icon Blood, all those classic songs. And I'd listen to like intros ripped from Virgin's Cunt or something. I know it was one of the later tracks. And I decided to check out some of their other stuff. At the time, I didn't know that they had switched vocalists. So I thought it was just the same guy that just got a bit better. But I started listening to Butchered at Birth. I'm not making this shit up. And I checked out Meat Hook Sodomy and Rancid Amputation. But I'm listening to the title track. Because I'm like, alright, I've heard these songs through, I think it was like one of Killbot's videos that I found them. So I checked out the track, and teacher's like, "What are you listening to this time?" I show her. It wasn't even the fact that it's Butchered at Birth. It was the art with all the fetuses and the gore that scared her. Now, obviously, I was using Spotify, but the whole, like, I even went and said, like, this is just death metal. This is just, I don't know. I'm just getting into these bands, and they're just here. I don't think they care whether or not someone has an abortion or not. Later on, I'm listening to Aborted, and I'm trying to remember if it was Retro Gore. I think it was, because that was the first album and song I ever heard from them, and I was listening to, like, I think it was actually Retro Gore, like the song, and she just saw the name Aborted and was like, "Oh, aborted, like abort a bait," and I'm like, aborted could mean aborted mission and whatnot. So there's that. Then there's one other time where I wasn't even in school. I was just at my grandma's house. Now, my grandma is Catholic, and I feel like a lot of people know the whole religious people don't really like metal, especially art. I mean, I can't even wear this Suffocation shirt because of the back that says abandon all hope and faith. I can't wear my aborted stuff, especially not the shirt I got at Chaos and Carnage because of the fact that it has like a bloody nun on it. That said, I was listening to, I'm pretty sure it was actually exactly, it was either one of these albums or one of the other early brutal death metal bands I got into early on. Right, so it was some sort of BDM. I kid you not, my grandma looked at me because I put on death metal, and I think at the time I was, actually no, it wasn't brutal death metal. It was some like Swedish death metal, like Entombed or something, because I was reading the book, and she saw the cover and she was like, "That's terrible." I'm like, they talk about how it helped them not get in trouble and release all their anger. She looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, it says right here. And I even showed her like the line. She just couldn't believe her eyes because she thought that it would be nothing but like talking about like murder and rape and all that. And obviously, no, I don't think for the most part. I mean, obviously there are some crazy people out there, but they obviously don't do that. Later on, I was listening to more brutal death metal, and she was like just shocked at the fact that I'm listening to that, and uh, she always asks where I get my merch, and she's like, my dad gets it for me online, or I just get it at concerts because I've had a few of those shirts, and she's just like, why? I'm like, because I like showing who I am. Um, Obviously, I try and tone it down with what I wear because, like, my dad got scolded just for wearing his Lamb of God shirt. Um, that said, thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. As always, keep it grim.